Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
What is up, and welcome in. We are the One and Done Show. We are your fast break of college basketball information, and we are here with a very special off-season edition. My name is Eric Romoff. You can catch me on those Twitter streets at FantasyNav. And joining me, as always, we've got the gang all here. Start off with the captain of our ship, MC Holland34 on Twitter, Mr. Mike Holland. Mike, welcome in. Your head is presumably spinning with all this off-season news, but how are you doing today?
Yeah, you guys got me on this transfer portal, and we're going to surpass 1,700 players at this point that we've had to try to account for over the last couple of years. But it's an exciting time. It was a great March Madness tournament. Looking forward to the off season. A bunch of these rosters are going to look different, and excited about what we have going on.
Absolutely. It's one of those things we've been talking even as the season was coming to an end. We knew that we were going to get right back in. The offseason is here, but college basketball never sleeps, as we like to say. And we told you we were going to make a run and try to make our way through the West Coast Conference. And here we are again today with our special guest. We have on with us today St. Mary's Gaels head coach, Randy Bennett. Coach Bennett, thank you so much for taking the time today to join us. How are you, sir?
Yeah. Thanks. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on. And look forward to being on the show and having some fun with you guys.
Absolutely, Coach. So first, I want to congratulate you on another great season. Look, you took over this program after a 2-win season a couple of decades ago, one that only had 3 NCAA tournament appearances. So, what key steps did you take to build this program into what it is today?
Ooh, long ways back, but you know what? The simple thing is, it's all about people, I think, and we got better players back then. That's what we had to do. So we improved our talent, and then you get good players by recruiting and by developing. And so I think we do both. And any coach who says you're not doing it with good players is, I think they've lost their mind. So we brought in good players. We developed them. We improved their leadership. We got them to buy into being part of something bigger than themselves. So we got them thinking team and team before individual. I think those were the biggies. And I've always had a great coaching staff, like really, really good assistant coaches. And I do now, and I did back then. And so I think that was the deal. We brought in good players and made them better. And to do that, you have to have a good staff. And you could go into some other things that happen. Obviously, you have to have an administration that supports you. And once they saw we were headed in the right directions, they gave us a chance. And then once they saw that we were headed in the right direction, they jumped in with us. And so it's continued to build. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a year. It takes years. And we're still doing it. Like, we're still trying to move up a level, and there's not many levels to move up, but we're still doing the same way, though. Good staff and good players and good administration.
Yeah, it has been an incredible journey to follow and a very impressive process by which you have built this program up to the heights that you're at now. And there's seemingly still a lot of upside in front of this program. It sounds like what you're saying is that you've done it largely through building a culture, and I want to kind of double click there, right? I'm curious from you, what's your perspective in terms of how you measure your success as a basketball coach, but also, what are some of the things that you're hoping your players are taking away from their time at St. Mary's, both as players and as young men heading into the Worlds?
Yeah, it's a great question, because you can get caught up in wins and losses, and that's kind of all you focus on. It's easy to do, I think all the pressures that you have on you as a coach. I think it's hard. This is the hardest time ever to be a Division I head basketball coach. You have to wear so many hats, and it's just, yeah, it's a challenge. It's really changed the last 2 years. But the answer to your question is, I think as a coach, you have to you have to have perspective that it's not all about wins and losses, and it's hard to stay there because stay focused in that area, but because you get fired if you don't win enough. And so you can get locked in on that. And also your ego and the whole thing. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to do this. You can get another job if you get an NCAA tournament. All that stuff is real. But at the end of the day, these guys have this one window of time. And it's the only time in their life I think they have it. And it's a 4 to 5 year window. And it's their basketball window, but it's also their chance to be able to change their where they can go, their potential, or where they can go in life, and through an education. And education is still very important. It's the great equalizer. You can even the playing field for life with a really good education. So, but there's more to it that I think being a good person and growing as a person, becoming a man, manning up, so to speak. I think all those are important things that get overlooked. And I think we really focus on that we do it as a team, as a program. We're better if our guys are better guys. We'll win more games. We'll be a tighter team. And so we really work on holding guys accountable. We really work with them on leadership, becoming better leaders. Everybody can be a leader. Some guys, are more natural at it than others, but everybody can improve there. So we focus on that. Obviously, graduating is not the bar. It should be higher than that. The guys that we're getting are plenty capable of graduating. So we try and get them to focus on, being as good a student as they want to be and can be. Like they have to decide where they're going to put their time. There's only so much time. Some of them want to aspire to be a pro, and so they might put more time into the basketball bucket. But you need to get it more than just a degree in my point of view. Some guys, all right, that's probably a decent bar. Depends what their academic background is. But some guys, they need to do better than that. We have a lot of guys that end up being all academic, things like that. So we try and focus on getting guys to be the best they can be in all those areas, just a person, a student, and a player.
Coach, you mentioned leadership and leadership qualities, guys that can, sustain a culture throughout their time that they're there in your program. You got some really good news recently with the announcement that Alex de Cos would officially be returning for his 5th season. What has Alex meant to you in this program, and what are your expectations for him heading into next season?
Yeah, Alex is he's been a good leader. He was part of our leadership core this year. Kyle Bowen, Logan Johnson, and Alex, and they did it. The reason we've been good last 2 years is our senior leadership, and these 3 guys were a big part of it as juniors. And then this year, they're as good of leaders as we've had. And usually you kind of focus in on one guy, but this was a 3-man job. And so he returns. So he's helped us there. He's also, he's been all-league guy last 2 years and one of our best players last 2 years. I think he really came on this year, second half of the season. So he's kind of our energy guy. He's kind of our fun-loving guy as far as he's fun. He's fun. He brings fun leadership. He brings he just keeps it fresh. So he's been good in those areas. He can really shoot the ball. He can really score the ball. I think he's got a chance to be an NBA guy if he can stay healthy and put it all together for his senior. And that's why he came back, is he knows this is the one time in life he has a chance to do that. And so he kind of, he went out with that injury in the UConn game. So he kind of felt like he had a little left to prove, and he's going to come back and do that and be our captain. And he's going to take on a lot, but I think he wanted that, and I think he'll make him a better player down the road. I think he'll be one of the best players in the league next year.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned the UConn game, so I got to ask you, if he doesn't get hurt, is the round of 32 outcome different against UConn there?
If Alex was there?
Yeah, if he was able to finish the game.
I think the game would have been – I think it would have gone down the last 5 minutes. I can't call it after that, but I don't think they would have separated the way they did about the 12-minute mark in the second half. We just didn't have any – we're playing 3 guards after we lost Alex, and we just didn't have the – Alex can really shoot the ball. He can score the ball, and he stretched the floor. He spaced the floor, and he was playing well in that game. So I just think it's I think it's a close game. I think it goes down the last 5 minutes. If we have him, it's, you don't know for sure what would have happened. UConn was very good. After we beat them, I still didn't know how good they were. Like, I knew they were good, but I didn't know they were going to run through the rest of the tournament like they did. And they were very good. Now that I'm away from it a little bit, I got to see them play 4 more times after that. It's like these guys would have been tough to beat. So they didn't have holes. But yeah, I do think it would have been a closer game. I'm not saying we would have beat them or not. I would like try and play it with Alex the rest of the way, though.
Yeah, it's certainly a tough spot not having one of your floor generals there available down the stretch run. And it feels like if you were there, you would at least be in strong position to go blow for blow with one of, I guess quantifiably the best team in the country this year, the eventual champion Huskies. So definitely excited that we get to see him back for another season with you and the Gaels. Coach, I want to jump in here. It's hard to have a conversation about college basketball without talking about player mobility and the transfer portal, right? It is open until May 11th. So rosters are still, in flux up until that point. But I want to get your perspective over the years. How do you strike a balance between recruiting and building through the portal?
Yeah, great question. And it's really just kind of come on. Like the NIL stuff is just last year it just came on for the first year, and then this year it came on stronger. And I think everybody was kind of wondering, is this going to stick? Is this going to are they going to put rules on it? And they really haven't. And so it's just kind of increased exponentially. And so I think we're all trying to figure it out, including me for sure. We are, at the start of the show, I was talking about our how we built our program. We're still that. We try and do a good job recruiting, bringing in guys that are buying into what we're selling as far as the program, and then we get guys, and then we develop them. And so we're still rolling that way with being a development type program, bringing guys in, having them for 4 or 5 years. We'll still redshirt a guy, and we'll sprinkle in a transfer. We have, Malik Fitz was, Joe Rahan was, Rob Jones was. Those guys are all league guys. But we don't take many transfers. That's not our deal. I don't think St. Mary's College is set up for that. And our program, we're not anti-transfer, but we're just trying to develop guys. And if you bring a guy in and you tell him that hey, we're going to develop you, you probably won't start as a freshman. You may not play right away because college basketball is old. If you're telling a guy that when you're recruiting him, which we do, Aiden Mahaney was a freshman who started this year, but he was that's the rare one. That's Patty Mills. That's Matt Dellavedova, and so that one worked out for him. But usually our freshmen, they're like most of the good programs. They have to, they have to get better. They have to get stronger. They have to get older. And so if you tell them that and then you bring a transfer in right on top of them about the time they're supposed to play, they're probably going to transfer. So then you start the cycle. So I think it's a two-way street. You better be loyal to them. And then I think in most cases, they'll be loyal to you. Not always. But, yeah, I think it starts there. But we are that. I think you can still roll that way. You have to have a good plan, and you have to have confidence in your ability as a coaching staff to develop guys and make them better. And we've seen it enough that that's what we're selling and that's what we're doing. We think we can do it. So I know you have to. I'm probably going to answer more than you asked, but you can do it still. But somehow you have to stay old, and you have to develop your guys. So it's tricky. Like I said, if you start just going the transfer route, then I think you're married to it. I think you're going to lose those guys. You're not going to have depth behind them, and then you're going to have to go get another transfer. So then eventually high school kids will evaluate that, and they'll figure out, wait a minute, if I'm going there, they'll probably be bringing in a transfer in about 2 years, and they got to decide if that's what they want to take on or not. So I think it's doable. We'll see. I'm not sure on anything. I don't know any more than anybody else. I just know how we've done it. I think you can do it if you're careful about who you take in your program and careful about bringing in guys in over top of the others. It's so easy to get anxiety and just try and bring in the best guys, oldest guys you can, and then you don't get the development piece.
Yeah, when we were talking to Coach Romar recently, he was mentioning about how he's known, obviously, and everybody that's paying attention knows that they've had one of the younger teams in the country and definitely in the conference over the past couple of seasons. So trying to find ways to get old, sometimes it is just developing those players, those players in your program. You mentioned Aiden Mahaney earlier. I want to bring him up, and as well as Mitchell Saxon, a couple of guys that had really nice years last season for you. Feel like the ceiling has not been reached for either one of those guys, though. So what's it like been watching their games grow, and what do you expect out of those guys in your program moving forward?
Yeah, they're both all-league players. We've had Mitchell this was his third year, and we thought he was good. He was playing behind Matthias Toss his first and second year. His first year, he played a little backup for us. His second year, he's good, and and Toss became an all-league player his senior year. So he played like 10 minutes a game, I think, his second year, which was kind of his redshirt freshman year because of COVID. Anyhow, we knew he was good last year. Like when we had him last year, and it's why we were good, is we were good at the 5 for 40 minutes. We could rest Toss and bring in Mitchell, and some nights Mitchell was better. And so everybody's like, oh, you guys are losing Toss. Who are you going to play at the 5? And it was very clear in our coaching staff's minds that this guy we have coming off the bench is good, and he's going to be ready next year to be a starter. And honestly, all league was something in our mind. We thought this guy can go 12-8 next year, and that'll get you close to all league if we're good. So it happened, and that's what I was saying before is guys can develop, and if you'll stick with them and they'll, I don't want to say wait their turn, but they'll keep working, guys will get good. And he's a great example of that, and we have him back for the next 2 years, and I think he has a chance to he has to take the next step. What's the next step after your all league is try and be the best 5-man in our conference. And if you're that, you're pretty good. And that's where he's got to get to. He has there's a lot of room for growth still. He has to become a better shooter and has to become he can improve defensively, and he shoots 55%. And he needs to push that up above 60. So, but he's a worker. That'll happen. Aiden, we haven't had as long. We've known him since he was 6 years old. So we've seen him. We know what he's about. We know what makes him tick. So that helped us and it helped him because there was no getting to know him really. Like I've seen him play high school. I've seen him play all the way up. And yeah, he played with my son. So I saw like all of his high school games, even through COVID. So I knew where he was. Our staff did. My assistant had worked with him when he's young too. So we knew him. We knew that he had confidence. We knew he could make a big shot. We knew he played to win. We knew that's really all he cared about. We knew he loved hoops. So all that stuff we didn't have to worry about. And then on the court, he had a really good freshman year. He scored it well. I would say that's the best thing he did. This year was he could make buckets, and that's what he did for us. He did other things, and he got better defensively. But he's got to get stronger, and he has to get better defensively. The strength will help his defense. He's got to get more assists. He's got to make plays for others, and all those things will happen. He is a worker. He wants to be good. He's trying to be a pro, and he has a chance to do it. So we're just trying to get him to lock in on, which isn't hard, get him to lock in on just being the best player he can be next year and block out other distractions, which everybody needs help there, and, especially if you're a good player, but you need help. There's so many people that want to get in a guy's ear, and that's not just Aiden, that's other players. That could be Mitchell, that could be Logan Johnson, that could be any good player. And so that's where we're trying to just don't skip steps. One day at a time, 1 year at a time. So that's where he's at, and he's back to work already. He loves to play, so it's gonna be fun to see his growth this next year.
Hey, Coach, you've talked a lot about development. You've got a recruiting class coming in that you signed in November. Jensen Bradke, Jordan Ross, Andrew McKeever. You signed a plenty of talented classes. What excites you most about this one coming in?
Probably their attitudes. Sounds crazy, but they're good players. They're good players. They all had, well, two of them had really good high school senior years, and Jordan at Compass, and Andrew at his high school here, Granada High School. They had a great year. They went to the state championship, and so that was the focus. Like, just go have a good senior year. Just go be a good high school player. We'll worry about college next. And so that's where we're at now. They checked that box, and so now they're gonna have to come in and work. And like I said, I think it's if you're gonna go play for a program that's trying to win the NCAA tournament games every year and trying to win the conference championship in our league with Gonzaga in it, you have so much. You don't know what you don't know. You're 18. You're playing against guys. San Diego State's average age was 23. So you're playing against guys 4 and 5 years older. People don't. These kids, they don't know that yet. And even if they do know that statistic, they really don't know it. Like, it matters. 3 years matters, and 4 years really matters. So they have to get ready for it. They just have to work their butts off and make sure their attitude's great, their work ethic's great. Start working on, being. You're not going to play that role. You're not going to play the role you just did. You're not going to go 20-10 as a freshman, which that's what our guy Andrew McKeever did. so you have to, how can you help your team? What do I need to do so I can become one of those guys? And that's where I think that's why I said my answer was what excites me the most, attitude. I think they have we've told them that when we recruited them, and they're signing up for that. And that they just want to come in and help us win, and they want to come in and work hard and be a good teammate. So if they stay right there, which I think they will, they'll be good players. And we're gonna need them. We'll see about year one, and then we'll just take 1 year at a time. But they should be good players. We're excited to have them, and that's kind of, Andrew McKeever. That's hopefully it's a Omar Samhan, something like that. But it took Omar a while to be Omar. It took Jock Londale a while to be Jock Londale, and so he knows that, and he understands how hard I don't know if he totally understands, but he's up for working hard so they can become a good player.
Yeah, look, these are guys that are being recruited to play big-time basketball in the WCC with a storied program such as St. Mary's. So, they're talented, right? So if they're coming in with that attitude, already bought in, that makes all the difference. I want to stick with the recruiting trail here, Coach. You mentioned Patty Mills earlier. You've had a ton of success, not only recruiting close to home, but also recruiting internationally, especially from Australia. So I'm curious, for your perspective, what are some of the nuances in terms of how you approach here at home versus how you approach recruiting internationally?
Well, the baseline, the baseline things I think are the same. Like,
okay,
for me on recruiting, most guys you can throw in a hat, pretty good ones. There's the one and dones that are really one and dones. Those the real ones. They're different. They're not the same guys that you throw in the hat, but you can't decide. You can't really differentiate, I don't think, between guys that are. Well, just put it this way: Aiden wasn't in the top 100 guy, and he definitely was a top 100 guy if you really broke it down. But you can't tell who's 200 versus 75. I think I don't know what the exact number is, but it's going to be the guy who's going to be the better player is the guy who has a better attitude and works hardest and is a good leader. Those things they're going to determine what you become. So what I'm getting at is it doesn't matter, Australian, American, European, whatever. You got to make sure they have a good attitude and make sure they can work hard and make sure they're about the team, at least for us, how we're running our program. And those are the biggies. Leadership, team, work ethic, attitude. Those are the biggies. But you can tell that about a guy if you talk to him, you get him on the phone. So I think one of the biggest, yes, we evaluate. Yes, they have to be athletic enough. Yes, they have to be big enough for their position and skilled enough. All those things matter, but you can improve on skill but if you spend time with them, you can figure out those things. What are they about? Are they going to fit? Are they going to be the guy who passes up other guys? So I think that's a big part for me and for our staff as far as recruiting. So it doesn't really matter where they're from. The difference on the international kids is, again, they don't know what they don't know. They don't know what U.S. college basketball really is. The kids who grew up here and have been through AAU and all that, they know that. They've seen all these other guys. They know how it works. They know how different colleges they would know the difference in who's really good and who's not. International kids might not. They might not know they might not know who the Blue Bloods are. And so St. Mary's might not be any different than a Duke to them. And so that's what you have to explain to international guys. You have to explain a lot more to them. But overall, we don't recruit them much different. There's just a lot less traffic international, and we've been doing the international things my whole time here, and especially Australia has really worked for us. So I would say we know that recruiting probably better than most, and like I said, it's been good to us. So we've developed that. We've developed the connections, and you have Australian or New Zealand guys who've been successful before you, and now they're back there playing pros. You just have some good ends. So I think but that is like we would do in American recruiting, like we recruit the West. So we recruit Australia, New Zealand like it's the West. We know guys 2 and 3 years out.
Love hearing that. Yeah, and when you have the success that you've had, it really makes a lot of sense to do that, especially when some programs maybe aren't willing to take that extra step there. A couple more questions here for you, Coach, so we can be respectful of your time, and we definitely appreciate you hanging out with us for a little while today. We like to say, college basketball never sleeps, but there is a little bit off season here. It's kicking off. We know you're a busy guy. We know you're staying involved in the program. What do you do, though? Like, you've got to find some time to decompress, right? Do you have anything planned for the off season? Do you take a trip every year? Do you have any interests that you sort of pursue, or are you just totally locked in to your program basically all the time?
No, you got to unload. Yeah. So, my family, my wife, my 2 sons, we'll go on vacation, and usually it's as simple as go to San Diego and hang at the beach for a week and just kind of unload. But I like to go fishing in Canada, and go to the beach and whatever else, hang out with friends, family, go see my dad and mom. But pretty simple, nothing. No skydiving, nothing too crazy.
Oh, man, Coach, I was hoping you could tell us you were skydiving this summer.
Probably a one-time trip. I don't want to do that.
There you go. Hey, last question for you, Coach. What's something about your program nationally that doesn't get enough attention?
You know what? Honestly, I think the level we've won at, and I'm not trying to toot our horn. I just think it sneaks under the radar a little bit. One of the reasons, and it's a credit to them, is Gonzaga's in our league, and what they have done has been over the last 24 years is it's been ridiculous. Nobody's done it better, really, in college basketball. And so they steal a lot of the thunder in our league from other programs too. But I say steal. They deserve everything they've gotten, and they're really good. But I think sometimes people don't know what we have done as much as we have done. And so whatever, it's all part of the deal. But I don't think people understand that we won a lot. I think we're 5th winningest program in the last 16 years, which in Division I college basketball. People wouldn't know that. And yeah. That's it. We have great guys, though. We have great guys. Everybody who coaches their team and program probably thinks that. I feel the same way, and it's kind of fun to be able to do it with really good guys year in, year out, and do it at the level we have. And we want to do it at even a higher level, but always with the same quality of guys.
And I could not have said that any better myself. Randy Bennett, head coach of the St. Mary's Gaels. If you are not paying attention to what they are building out there at St. Mary's College, they have something very special that they have managed to put together that has a lot to do with head man, Coach Randy Bennett. Randy, really appreciate you taking some time out of your day and chatting with us.
Thank you. I really appreciate you guys having me on. And It's fun. If you ever want me back, I'll be there. So thank you guys. Enjoy your show.
Thanks, Coach.
We will
Thank you.
absolutely take you up on that, Coach, and good luck in the season to come. As we get out of here real quick, we've got a couple of programming notes that we want to hit on. Jay, you want to tell everyone that's watching what we have queued up in terms of these shows for the next week or two?
Yeah, don't go too far. Make sure you have those subscribe buttons smashed, those notification bells turned on. We're going to do a weekend portal update. We're going to try to catch everybody up on all the movement that's happened in the portal. Mike's obviously working really hard on his board, and he's going to hit on that in a second. We're not going to slow down, though. We're looking for more head coaching interviews, beat reporters from around the country. Right now we've been focusing out west a little bit. We're going to make our way around this country of college and basketball and make things happen. So we're really excited about that. Mike, before we head out, I know you do have an announcement really quick about the vaunted, the popular, the whatever you want to call it, transfer board. So what you got coming up?
Yeah, last year was a top 100. We're moving it up. We've teased it on a few of the transfer portal shows that we've done, but moving it up to a top 200. There's just too many good players to cover. So I'll be releasing that on drroto.com. Should be out by midweek. And we'll probably have some more names and some more commitments to be added by the time we get to that point. But yes, we will be releasing a top 200. No, Eric, I am not doing all 1,500, but maybe in a few years we'll get closer to 300. We'll see.
Coach was sitting close to home there when he was talking about that 75 to 200 window. Trying to get everybody, hit close to
Mike
home
was
there.
Feeling seen.
Eric was smiling about that, man. He loves to tell me when I ask where we think this player should be ranked that not many people are going to see the difference between number 76 and number 200. But I don't know. Transfer portal feels a little bit different than it does recruiting, right? It feels like with this many players entering the portal now, maybe that's a little bit closer than what you would see like as far as high school players. Yeah, probably the top 10 to 15 high school players obviously could potentially be one and dones versus the number 200 high school player. But being an all league player, we've seen some guys that weren't on our board last year that ended up being all league players. So yeah, it was awesome to kind of see Coach's insight on that, and I'm excited, man. We got a lot on deck. And we're just going to keep pushing out content this offseason.
Yeah, I think the key difference, and Coach Bennett touched on it while we were chatting with him, all these guys that are entering the portal, by and large, you have tape of them at the next level, and that jump to the next level is a huge jump, right? It's hard to appreciate at making that jump from high school to college. So in the transfer portal, you can at least see how these players have done in the college ranks. And while Mike is saying that he is not going to rank all 1,500 players in the transfer portal this year, I do want to make note that we have applied steady pressure to this man, and he has doubled the size of his transfer portal list. So if you are here with us on YouTube, get up in those comments. Let Mike know you want to see 250, you want to see 300. I think we can get him to maybe walk that list up a little bit more as long as you show him that it's what the people want in the comments.
Yes.
So get up into those comments. Let Mike know that we want more information. When you're ready and when that is launched, get over to drroto.com. Check out that full board of currently 200, potentially more. Mike is doing a ton of great written work over there. And like Jay mentioned, we're pushing out videos all the time. Going to have at least a few more this week covering the transfer portal. Got more coaching interviews queued up. So make sure you are subscribed here on YouTube. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single show between now and the next week, the start of the season. We're going to be here pushing it out all off season long and nothing else. With that notification bell, you're not missing a show, and you're definitely getting this bread.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.